Hey, what's up? I hope everyone's having a good day, and let's get right into this. So this video will be quick, perhaps 10-15 minutes. I'm just testing something out. You'll notice a new thumbnail. You'll just notice a few new things in this video, just to see how the interaction and algorithm reacts to that. But let's go ahead and get right into this video. So this video will just be how I made close to $4,000. I think it was 3,874.20 cents in 3 hours and 35 minutes trading EURUSD and NAS100. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse the camera here a bit. And I mentioned in the previous video, like I have I have a lot of videos already made, but I'm just looking at the type of videos that people want to see. But I do have a hard drive filled with videos that I could just drop whenever, but it's neither here nor there. So yeah, this trade, this will be a very, very simple trade breakdown, and I actually ended up sending this trade out to a Telegram that I'm a part of. But looking at EURUSD, let's just look at it from the monthly time frame. We'll start on the monthly time frame. So we're on bar replay, just keep that in mind. So notice how price was just going up after we formed a new lower low. So what we'd expect is for price to just react, go up a little bit higher, grab some supply, and then proceed to go lower. So I do have a lot of stuff actually drawn on the higher time frames here. And then we went down to the weekly, and what did we notice? We noticed the weekly level of supply right over here. And once again, so this will be commonly referred to as an order block, but I'm just moving to the premise of just supply and demand, since an order block is literally supply or demand. So just to make sure everyone's not confused, from henceforward I'll actually be referring to my zones as just supply and demand. So notice how it doesn't say weekly OB or anything like that. This is just for simplicity's sake, and so any new people are not confused. So on the weekly time frame, we identified this level of supply, and I also noticed that this level had imbalance in it. Just efficiency, notice how there's a gap in between these candles. So it goes from here to here. There's a gap. This is a form of inefficiency that the market actually looks to fill. So imbalance here, and we're gonna go ahead and draw it on the weekly time frame. I'm just showing you guys my thought process top down, and if you guys like this video, then I'll end up making more videos showing the figures and all of that cool stuff. So over here, notice how we actually did have this other weekly level of supply. Price broke down, price filled in, and then proceeded to go down. So over here, as price entered this weekly level of supply, I was just looking for some sort of reaction to confirm my idea of going short. Now this short, I understood, would not be permanent, since we're still waiting to see what the daily time frame does. Notice how we've already had 2 breaks to the upside on the daily, even though we're overall bullish. So I'm paying attention, understanding that the daily broke twice. Look at how these candles are closing after. This is actually after the fact, but notice how this candle closed. We obviously anticipated all of this after price went up and closed at inefficiency. But on the daily time frame, these shorts were not something that I'd be looking to hold very, very soon. I'll show you guys a lot more things that I do, but you guys will see me actually hold a trade from a very, very high point. It'll be a very, very crazy swing trade. I'll have a lot of those in 2023, but right now notice how we broke 2 times to the upside. So even though the weekly is bearish, we can obviously tell that the weekly is bearish here, I would not be looking to hold this trade permanently. Like, I would not have been looking to partial out and to hold this trade indefinitely. So this is the weekly time frame up here. So notice how price wicked into the weekly time frame on the 1 hour, and we already had a strong reaction. So now obviously I don't just set a sell limit on my zone and leave 150 pip stop loss on there and try to target the lows all the way down here. I'm not saying that that's not a valid trade, but that's not what we're looking to do here. So keep in mind that we're looking to see if EU will decide to continue long, or if we'll just keep going short. So right now, at this point in time, I'm not sure what will happen, but I do understand that the market just cleared some inefficiency. We're in a higher time frame area, and what will most likely happen in terms of probabilities is we'll grab said liquidity and use it as an excuse to seek other forms of liquidity in the form of this level of demand right down here with this inefficiency. I was actually on a call when I took this entry, so I would have liked to show you guys live execution, but hopefully I can do that on the next video. So as price approaches our level on the weekly, I notice that we actually have some sort of distribution schematic potentially forming over here. So I have my preliminary supply over here. I identified the buyer's climax over here, the automatic reaction, secondary test, sign of weakness over here, and upthrust / upthrust after distribution. So we're not actually sure if this is distribution schematic 1 or distribution schematic 2, but what I am sure of is that, you know, it is a schematic, so that's why I put upthrust / upthrust after distribution, and it will get confirmed after the sign of weakness gets liquidated. So the sign of weakness was actually liquidated over here, and we can actually go ahead and update this here. Sign of weakness in phase B, and on the second monitor here, I'll pull up what the Wyckoff distribution looks like. Right over here. So notice how this is distribution schematic number 2. We have our preliminary supply or buyer's climax down into our automatic reaction, secondary test, sign of weakness in phase B. Then we have our upthrust in phase B, which we actually just called upthrust / upthrust after distribution, since we were waiting for that sign of weakness to then get liquidated before confirming that. So that is what we have here. So preliminary supply, buyer's climax, automatic reaction, secondary test, sign of weakness in phase B, and upthrust / upthrust after distribution. So at this point here, I waited for the sign of weakness to get hit, and notice how the sign of weakness was just liquidated by this 5-minute candle right over here. So then I went down to a 1-minute time frame and actually tried to identify where can I enter. Okay, so on the 1-minute time frame, notice how we've actually had that signature 2 breaks of structure that I'm looking to see. So we just had internal break of structure here, internal break of structure here, closed beneath, internal break of structure here, and now I'm looking. This is our range: high, low, correction, impulse, low, high, potential correction. Yes, most likely. So as price entered my level of supply over here, you can actually see it better on the 2-minute right over here, but I had this level of supply drawn nonetheless. Let's see what it looks like on the 3-minute as well. Okay, so I actually have this level of supply drawn out, and notice how price filled it, and then I started to look to get involved. I wanted to see price just form a reaction off of it. Once again, I don't just set sell limits on my levels. I've done that in the past, and it's actually worked well, but nowadays I don't do that anymore. If you guys have success doing that, then, you know, I'm all for it. Do whatever helps your edge play out. So as price actually closed beneath it, rejecting my level, I actually fired off my entry right over here. So the stop loss was actually a bit bigger, so it was 16.2 pips, but the stop loss was just there to accommodate. And I actually got asked a very, very interesting question, and someone said, excuse me, they said, if price is in your POI for a long time, and you're in drawdown, does that entry does that entry end up working? And I said, a lot of the time, no, because you can tell if price is consolidating in your area, chances are the entry won't work out, but I don't close early. That's not something I do. I would not close the entry early. So that's just interesting. So notice how I was in drawdown on this entry here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, went into profit. Still, my break-even criteria did not get met. And then I was in drawdown again, but this time a couple more minutes. So on the 5-minute time frame, notice how price did break down, form some more supply over here, and what happened? Price came up and filled the supply. This is another entry that I could have taken, but personally, as of today, which is 11/26/2022, I do not add to positions that are in drawdown. It's just my personal rule. But this is another entry. I'm always very aware that you can add an entry when you're in drawdown, but just for my risk reward and everything, I don't add entries. So now, what am I doing? I'm just waiting to be able to move my stop loss to break even. Just waiting for that low to get taken out down here. Okay, so as the low was liquidated here, my stop loss was actually a break even. Why? Because I'm not expecting price to come above this level here. This is the last level that price can hold for this trade to still be valid. Because for price to even come up here, now notice, if we're grabbing liquidity, it will just be a wick. Price will just wick like that. But now, for price to come up and break this level, chances are I'm wrong about the trade, my stop loss will get hit. So I'm able to go to break even as a preemptive move just to protect my capital, because structure has allowed me to go to break even, so thus I'll go to break even. And now we wait. Okay, so around this point it was 12:53 a.m. I think I slept maybe 3 or 4 hours that night. So entry was at break even. I'm done trading around 1 p.m. anyway. I'm typically on from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So around this time I was actually just done trading, so I just left the entry in there and knocked out and just, you know, fell asleep. And as that happened, we'll wait and see what happens. So price comes down, hits the TP perfectly, does another double take, and then proceeds to reject and go higher. So this move is actually a hard TP, so I'm going to go ahead and, like magic, pop up some screenshots here. So on the screenshot, you'll notice that the figures that were made, I actually ended up closing a 1-to-1 on NAS 100 because I fell asleep on NAS 100. On NAS 100, I was up about $2,400, I think, $2,400 to $3,000, and I didn't set a hard TP. So by the time I woke up, the EURUSD trade, the hard take profit already took me out, and the NAS trade was still just active. So I looked at the trade and I was just like, you know, it's up 1-to-1. It was up a lot more. I just didn't set a hard TP, so I went ahead and just closed that out as well. So that totaled 3,874.20 cents within 3 hours and 35 minutes. And this is the trade breakdown. So entered here, exited on a hard TP here. So it took 3 hours and 37 minutes for close to $4,000. So, you know, that's a good amount of money to be making hourly. And yeah, that's the trade breakdown here. I hope everything makes sense on this trade breakdown here. And like I mentioned, I'm just gonna go ahead and like put up all of the screenshots and the screen recorder showing that this is actually a funded account, since, you know, I wouldn't I don't show any fake stuff over here. So it's good. Account is funded, everything is like active. And then I'm thinking of actually making okay, stay posted. I may make a new series on something that you guys may like. But this is my Instagram page. A lot of you guys have been reaching out via DM. So if you guys have any questions, it's King Omar D. Let's make sure everything's spelled right. This is my personal page. This is my business page here, just Olympus Enterprises. And this is my KOD Trade Manager page. And this is just what I use to execute every single one of my positions, which is on my website over here, olympus-enterprises.com. And I actually converted it so you can use AUD, Euro, GBP, and USD as well. If you guys have any questions, yeah, reach out. So until then, peace out. Oh, I lied. So yeah, so something else that's really interesting, I actually got this from Anton MentFX, just journaling. So before, all of my journals were actually paper based. I have, like, you know, brick and mortar, like books that have all my entries, you know, written down, psychology during the trade and all of that fun stuff. So it is very, very important to track all of this stuff. It's very, very, very important. So I show like my trades while they're active. So notice how these screenshots, if you look at the time, you know, everything, this is 10:03 in the morning, you know, so all of this stuff is accurate. None of this is like back tested. And then at this point, I put EU is playing well, since over here we actually grabbed that additional supply up there, and we just expected price to go down. And this is really, really important as well, because you need to make sure that you can actually see the vision, the vision of your trade. Because if I show some people the trades, and this actually just happened as well, they'll see something like on the 1 hour and say something like, did this not scare you? No, I mean, it's just the way the market works. We expect the market to flow like that. We understand there's liquidity down here, and chances are more likely than not that price will come down and mitigate said level. So there's no need to be scared by pullbacks like that, because once again, you have a stop loss and you have a TP, and what you want to do is let, you know, them do their jobs. Your stop loss is there to stop your loss, and your take profit is there to take your profit. So that's enough of the rant. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually work on more videos so I can start dropping on a more consistent schedule. If you guys have any video ideas as well, please just put those in the YouTube comments. And I had someone asking about change of characters. I don't trade change of characters anymore. I used to, but you know, it's just different words for the same things. There's just breaks and structures, be it internal or external. They're all the same things. But yeah, that's it. And let me know if you guys like this style of video, and I'm hopping off. Peace out.